Hello everyone. I'm Victor from Pickleball Diary. This is a new segment from our podcast where it's the Paddle at the Hub. This is our paddle review podcast. We're at the Paddle Hub West in Edmonton. So thank you for Ben and Michelle letting us do our podcast here. And I'm joined with a co-host. Now I upgraded myself from a co-host to the main host. Now I have a co-host. Yeah. Dewy over here that's coming in with me to talk about paddle. Dewy is a very good friend of mine. First of all, yes, we are Asian, so that helps. And the other need, one of the highest player pickleball also in Edmonton. I always admire him playing, and he has he's been very skillful. So talk to about a little bit, Dewy, about your background of the sport before you started pickleball. I think you started a little bit tennis, right? Am I right?
Yeah, actually. I grew up, this is Bailey, by the way. Hi, say hi, Bailey, over here. And I started actually playing ping pong as a kid.
Nice.
Probably in grade school, and then all the way to I was about high school. And then in high school, I got into badminton. And then from badminton, I got into tennis.
Nice.
So that was sort of the evolution of that. And then I played probably about a year of squash.
Okay.
And then kind of went back and reverted to probably stuck with badminton and tennis for a majority of my adult life, just recreationally. Played tournaments in both badminton and tennis, not at a super high level, but competitive rec.
Yeah, that's
right?
good.
So yeah, and then when I joined, back in 2021, I joined here and started playing pickleball, and like everybody else, badminton and tennis just stopped, and I just took up this full time.
Yeah, exactly. Same for me. I was a tennis player, and I started pickleball. It's over. Pickleball took over, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And then you're now coach here, right? At the Pickleball Hub, right? Also.
Yeah, I do some part-time coaching here, which has been awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's a good complement to my other job, which is personal training. So it has a very similar style feel where I deal with a lot of different clients, different levels.
Yes.
So it's actually helped my pickleball coaching, but this has also helped my personal training too. So
nice.
It's been a great compliment.
No, that's great. That's perfect. So obviously we're here talking paddle. So I think we're what kind of paddle you actually started playing? What was your style of play basically?
Well, when I first started, I tried a whole bunch of new paddles, and I came across the Pro Kenix.
Yes.
Right, you remember that one?
Oh, we remember the Ovation, the ping pong one, right?
And I think it was because of the shape and because it didn't have a edge guard. I just like this. I like the feel. I like the look of it, and just the sheer power of it. It just came off really nice for me, and so I just gravitated to that. And it just, it was a good racket for me to start, which is probably not maybe the greatest because it is a power paddle, and for a guy that just started, it suited me well because it felt very ping pong like for me. So that's
because you can put the same grip. If people who doesn't know that paddle is almost like basically a ping pong paddle shape, but in a pickleball paddle kind of size, basically.
Just an oversized ping pong paddle.
Exactly.
So I went from that to basically the Pro Kenix
Black Ace, right?
The Black Ace, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have one here. I'll show you guys.
Yeah. The Black Ace is actually it is on the top tier power paddles, which is actually delaminated because it is so powerful.
So everyone, this is the if you're looking at this is the Pro Kenix Black Ace. Unfortunately, this paddle has been already delisted. There's only one shape that is actually still on the USAP and the UPAA list is the Black Ace elongated version, which one of the pros, De La Rosa, is still using. But I think that other than that, all those ones unfortunately did not pass the new we call the BP core testing. So therefore, they're unfortunately not legal to play in sanctioned tournament.
Yeah. And so then I went from there to the Vatic. So all the other paddles were so expensive that I thought, geez, I can't afford this to keep buying a new paddle every year or even less. So then the Vatic, which was actually, I got it when I met Victor. He had like about 1,000 paddles, so he was always getting me to try these new paddles. And I actually really liked the Vatic. It had a lot more control, but it went from basically 0 to 60, but 60 down to 0, because I went from those two paddles to the Vatic, which was complete opposite. But it really changed my style of play. And I think that's actually a really good point. If you're trying a bunch of different paddles, then you should know what kind of style of player that you are. That will actually help the type of paddle that you want. But always try a good variety of paddles. The Vatic is actually quite a bit. It was a control. It was the Vatic Prism Flash. And the 16 mil, so very control oriented. But it changed my game completely to more very controlled game, which is good because it forced me to change my game.
Yeah, it forces me to be more patient because I remember I did have this paddle too. It was my main for a while. This paddle has like tremendous amount of dwell time. It is like you can really sink the ball into the paddle. Like you can really control the ball well. It's just like there's basically no power that's coming out of it. Like you like I hit like crazy. The ball's still not going far, and then you have to take a bigger swing kind of thing in order to generate the more power onto it. But at the same time, because okay, the ball is not going that far anymore. Okay, let's play that soft game. Let's slow it down. Let's do the reset, and then now you develop the other aspect of the game. Like myself, I was raw power. I was like also a tennis player. I was like trying to drive every ball that's coming to me. There's like at first there's like basically no thinking, and then kind of when you're progressing into your style of play, you have no choice because everyone is going to be able to either dodge your drive or either block your drive. Then you're like, okay, how am I going to come up to the non-volley zone line? Well, you're going to need to develop that soft game.
Yeah. So I went from the Vatic, the Prism Flash, to the elongated Flash.
Yeah, the V7, right?
The V7. Yeah. So it had more pop, but still a lot of control, and it was more elongated versus the hybrid shape that I was using. I liked it because it just progressed my game to more power.
Yes.
Right. So then I'll skip that, and then I went to this bad boy, but the elongated version of this, which
got delisted. Unfortunately, Dewy was pretty mad when it got delisted.
I think I might have shed a tear when I was pretty pissed actually. The Pro Power Elongated was an animal. It was a beast. And again, completely different from the Vatic, but that thing was awesome.
Yeah, it was a complete opposite from the Vatic, but you play so well with that paddle. It's like, oh my God, like
it
the
changed
spin,
my
whatever
game.
that you
changed
play.
My game entirely. So I went from the Vatics, which was control, then to complete opposite. But this had so much dwell time, but yet so much power, it was insane. That gets delisted again. And then I had to borrow this from my buddy Vinny, and this is the shortened version. This is the
Integra.
Yes, the Pro Power Integra, which is shorter. And you would think it's the exact same, not delisted, but the exact same paddle, just like a half-inch shorter.
Yes, it had the same core, same material, exactly the same thing inside, right?
Yes. But I'll have to say that half-inch makes a huge difference. Huge difference to all the ladies out there. Apparently it makes a huge difference. So you really got to change your game with this. So now I'm in the midst of getting a new paddle. So hence Victor. This guy owns 1 billion paddles and he knows everything about paddles, which is why he's the science behind it and I am the bro science behind it. He'll tell you the facts and I'll just tell you how it feels. Okay? I'll give you the straight up.
No worries. So we're gonna start with we have a couple of paddles right here in front of me. We're gonna start with some of them right now, which we actually play tested a little bit. So we'll start with this one. Not a lot of people know this paddle. Actually, the company is called Body Helix. That's the company, and the paddle is called Flick F1. Okay, so actually this paddle before it went to USAP approved, they actually Body Helix actually did kind of a test trial. They actually produced a paddle very cheap. It was $79 before. Yeah, but it was not USAP.
Oh.
They actually put like insane grit and then have an insane core in there. So
Right.
that the one that the original Flick was even more powerful.
Oh, really?
Than this one. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That's what. But because of they have to get the PB Core 43 certified, so they have to tune down this paddle in order to pass the certification. But regardless, that's still a poppy paddle, right?
Oh,
Right.
very.
So we'll talk a little bit of quick data. This paddle weight, static weight was around the one I have is 8.1 ounces. It has a swing weight of 121, so it is on the higher end. The twist weight is actually not too bad. It's into the 6.4, so which is we call it into the average. This paddle is into an elongated shape. The grip length is around 5'3", but it's still like if you look at it, you're like, oh, I can barely put two-handed on it. That's wrong if you look at it. Pretty good size, right? You
Yeah,
can still
decent.
Still
Still get a
decently
two-hand
put two hands on this paddle.
Yeah.
So, what was your first impression of playing with this paddle, Dewy?
I was surprisingly shocked and pleasantly surprised. I read about and YouTubed it, and I didn't think I was gonna like it. Usually when I hear power paddle, I think it's gonna be very poppy and have to generate a lot of power from it. But I'll have to say, I was, again, pleasantly surprised because it actually had a fair bit of dwell time.
Yes.
It's the closest paddle that I've found so far to the gearbox that I've been using. Mm-hmm. So before we go any further, we've discussed power versus pop, and I just want Victor, just because there might be other people out there that might be wondering the same thing, because I think it's very good to kind of know. When I think pop, I think actually power, like where you basically get a lot of, generate a lot of, like it comes off hard and fast. Mm-hmm. So back from a tennis background, when I get my tennis racket strung, I get them at a lower tension. So if the racket says 50 to 65, I get it down below 50, 55 because it creates more power for me. The higher the tension for tennis, the more control you're going to get. Yep. But in pickleball, it's a bit different. Yes. So can we just explain power versus pop?
Yes. So the main difference between power and pop, and especially in pickleball, is how that ball rebound off your paddle versus how much do you need to swing in order to get that raw power off your paddle. So a poppy paddle like this one, that the Body Helix F1, is why we say it's very poppy is basically I put a paddle static in a position that I'm not even swinging. Okay, I have someone hitting the ball towards that paddle. That how much that energy can deflect back from this from that ball striking. So basically, if I have this paddle, I'm at the non-volley zone line. Someone's driving a big hard ball at me. I don't need to move with this paddle, and the ball just shoot right back almost at the baseline with this paddle. Versus what is a power means. I need like when I swing, so it needs some sort of energy transfer. How much of that? Yes. How much my energy transfer towards that with that paddle to the ball am I able to generate? So I would say most of the paddle, if I go to 1-to-1 ratio. Most of the paddles, especially the older generation, we're talking about like the fiberglass paddles that we used to, or like this paddle right here. It's probably 1 to 0.2. So basically, you're losing a good chunk of power even you're swinging with this paddle. A very good power paddle, an example, the Joola Perseus 4, you can get up to like about 0.7. So like a rate, like you do lose a little bit of power, a lot of power, but still have like that 0.7% or 70% of power going towards the ball. But if you take the same paddle, it does not have the same pop, because you put it at the non-volley zone line. That ball, when it hits the paddle, it does not go further than what you are intended to go. So that's the difference between pop and power. The pop is usually we call generate easy power, versus full power means when you're there's the full motion that you're hitting the ball, how much that power is actually transferred towards your paddle to the ball. That's the main difference between power and pop.
Right. Just to clarify for me as well as everybody else, when he's saying power, you have to generate the power to create the power.
You have to swing hard, basically.
You have to swing harder, so you have to generate from your swing. Versus a poppy paddle, it's basically, I would say, it's the rebound effect, the trampoline, where you get that trampoline and it shoots out.
Yeah, the paddle is doing the work. Almost.
Yes, so that's more poppy, so it goes in and shoots out. Okay?
Yes.
Poppy versus power. Okay.
Exactly, and that's, unfortunately, sometimes it's not as easy easy to control, because a pop is sometimes inconsistent. Then therefore, you will not expect to have the ball trajectory going to the same power or same spot, because of that pop generation. And I think that's the reason of this paddle is not as popular in a higher level setting, because a lot of higher level players want to have a predictable ball or predictable trajectory. And this paddle, like, there was a couple of shots you hit at me, you're like, oh, you came back very fast, or you came back somewhere else that it wants to be, right?
Yeah, I drove a ball down the line to his backhand. He was reaching for it. He just stabbed at the ball, and it came back like a rocket cross court, boom, down the middle, hard.
Yeah.
So it just popped off. It was unpredictable.
Yes.
But unpredictable power, it was crazy. Versus when you have these, you're going to get the same kind of bounce off the paddle, or the same, I guess, pop off the paddle each time.
Yes.
Right? So when you're at the net with something like this, and you're having to block or counter punch, then you actually have to generate the power to hit it deep. Yes. This one here, I can just stand there and it'll go back deep.
Yeah,
pop versus power.
Yeah, you just this paddle, basically, you just want to make sure it's going down.
Yeah.
You don't want to just that was your only concern. You don't, the ball is gonna go over the net. That's guaranteed. And how do you like the drive of this paddle?
Oh, it was awesome. Like, you have to control that baby, but I'll have to say, for style of play, and this is also important, like we said in the beginning, how you play is going to determine the type of paddle that you probably should play with. I consider myself more of an all-court player, so I rely on a lot of spin and deception, and my strokes are a lot more compact. So for this, it was actually good for me.
Yes.
Because I have a compact swing, I didn't like this one as much, because I have to generate more power.
Yeah.
Right? So I did like it because it sprung off really good. Harder to control, but when you hit it in that sweet spot, boom.
Oh, it was not coming back.
It was a rocket, a cannon. Yeah.
It was something else. So I will say this paddle definitely not a beginner, intermediate player paddle. You want to recommend up, because it's just with the sheer power that and more pop than power that's coming off this paddle. There's no way a beginner and intermediate will actually I'll say enjoy the game with this paddle, because it's just there's way too much ball. There's no kind of the consistency that you like. A lot of the time in pickleball, we want to play the higher percentage game. We want to go. We want to have the high, making the more as much ball as possible. This paddle is basically it's a full aggressive. You just want to hit whatever drive possible until the opponent either get body back or pop it up, basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
Although I did find it actually pretty good for resetting.
Yes.
But I'm so used to that from the gearbox that it actually made this one a lot more reasonable for me to control. It actually felt really good.
Well, you have to change a little bit your your hands a little bit. For you, it will be easier because it was pretty close to what the gearbox SST core. So what the Pro powers. So you just short compact reset was easy, but for someone I think that's not used to, like, they put a little bit more push onto their reset, that with this paddle they're just gonna pop every ball up and suffer. And I think another disadvantage with this paddle is the sweet spot is quite smaller than usual. I will say, right? I agree. Like if you hit it on the edge, like, whoa, you can you feel the down power. Yeah, exactly. The power actually decreased like significantly.
Yes, yeah. The other thing that, just to go back on what you were saying, is that for a beginner player, because it's unpredictable, and if it hits a sweet spot, it's flying off. And I think for beginners have a tendency to use a lot of wrist and hands. So they kind of do this, especially when they're in transition zone and maybe their technique is probably not the best. So if your technique is not great and you're resetting with your wrist a lot, or you're thinking you're doing this,
it's over.
Man, it'll just pop up and say goodnight, because it's not good.
Yeah, exactly. Say bye-bye, or say sorry to your partner right away.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's compare to the second paddle we actually have over here. We have one of the new paddle on the market, the Selkirk Project Boomstik, right? This paddle actually much more expensive than the Flick. I didn't say how much it was. The Flick is actually around $179 US, so it's
reasonable.
It's reasonable. It's not too bad. And
let's be honest, all the paddles are so expensive and overpriced. They all are. Come on, let's be honest. It's ridiculous.
They all are, but anyway.
Anyhow, I digress.
Anyway, it's okay. We're moving on to this paddle. So we're moving on to the Project Boomstik. So this paddle, swing weight also at 120, so still in the higher end. But twist weight is that's the difference. The twist weight is at 6.8. So remember, this twist weight was around 6.4, 6.3. This one was at 6.8. So it is. So for people who is new into learning swing weight and twist weight, the higher the swing weight means you need more forces in order to swing the paddle. The lower it is, it's easier to swing the paddle. On twist weight, the higher the twist weight, it means when the ball hits the paddle, it does not turn. Right, so it is much more stable. So the lower the twist weight, unfortunately, when it hits the paddle might twist around and then becomes unpredictable, or sometimes cause a pop up. So this paddle was pretty new. If you look at it, has a pretty interesting thing. It has some weight already built in on the number 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock of the paddle. It has 7.5 gram actually of weight on it. It's actually it's brass metal. That's actually they confirm. Unfortunately, you cannot take that away. It's kind of permanent. You can try to take it away, but you just void your warranty, so don't do that, please. All right. How do you like this paddle?
Good. How about what was the static weight on that?
Static weight for this one is 8. The one that I had was 8 ounces.
Right. Surprisingly, it's 8, which is about average, par for the course for most paddles, because it looks and feels like it's probably heavier.
Yes.
Especially with the little weights on the side. And then you also added some.
I definitely added more weight on the throat of the paddle, just to increase a little bit more stability on this paddle. But obviously, still a poppy paddle, but definitely nothing close to the Flick, right?
No, I would say not. For me, it was more power. So this is on the top tier of your power paddles. And again, because you have to generate the power, because my swing is more compact, I didn't like it as much. Having said that, because the swing weight's good, it has a bigger sweet spot, and I like this actually, to go back to the flick, it also had the grit. So
yeah, the grit of this, like you can hear it. I'll just put it on there. It's pretty gritty. Like, you can hear it. It's really gritty.
So another bonus for me.
Compared to, like, it's not too bad. Like the boomstick's not too bad, but definitely the flick, if you touch the surface, like, ooh, this is gritty.
Yeah. So again, bigger sweet spot. You have to generate more power.
Yeah. You have to do more work, we can say.
I thought it wasn't bad. I didn't mind it at all, actually. But because of my swing path and my compact swing, I couldn't generate as much power as to generate the same amount of speed off of it as the flick. But it had good control, good spin off of it. It was pretty steady, pretty solid racket.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The sweet spot, it was really big. There's substantial difference compared to the flick. When you hit off center, you're like, oh, there's no energy generated. On this one, yes, you can still feel, oh, I didn't hit it center, I didn't hit it on the sweet spot, but the ball is still kind of going enough, like basically predictably to where you're directing your paddle off it. So it's like, it doesn't really need to, like, obviously you should be hitting on your sweet spot most of the time, but it did not mind as much with this paddle. Couple of unfortunately the downside of this paddle, first of all, price, right? $333 US. Ouch. That hurts, right? That hurts badly into the wallet. Yes, it looks nice. I agree, but $333 seems a little bit rough, right? Yeah. And then a couple of things. It just happened this year. If you're looking to play on the PPA or PPA Challenger, actually you cannot play with this paddle because they did that. The PPA, the UPA, so the government body of the PPA and the MLP does not allow you to have the MOI that we call the weight system on it. So you technically have to pop this out in order to play in those tournaments, or ask Selkirk to provide you a paddle without the weight on those. So I felt that was a little bit annoying. But other than that, we know Selkirk always has a very good warranty. This paddle actually, usually Labs has 1 year warranty. Apparently this paddle has lifetime warranty. Yes. So that's a good plus. And on top of that, they use a new technology on their surface. It's called the Infinity Grid. Already if you go on YouTube, some of the paddle reviewers actually tested out that their Infinity Grid is actually holding about the same or even better than the carbon fiber paddles on their spin. So which actually confirm a little bit of their claim that their Infinity Grid is actually probably, I don't know if is it really 3 times more, lasts 3 times more, maybe not, but at least is on par with the carbon fiber. What players we would recommend, Dewy?
It's going to be a higher level player because, again, generally speaking, whenever you're hitting a power paddle, your technique's going to have to be a lot better, right? Even though, like Victor said, it's your technique's got to be good and it's more predictable, you still have to hit the shot. So it's still going to come off very powerful. So the more you generate, the harder it's going to come off. Yeah. But it's not easy to get that top spin. You got to have really good technique to kind of shape that ball, right? The good thing about it is that it has a bigger sweet spot. Yeah. And like you said, the twist weight is higher. So I did find that in the transition zone when you're resetting, it was actually pretty good. So you could reset if it came off just outside of the sweet spot, you're still getting it over, right? It played really well in that regard.
I will say do you agree? I will put this paddle more for like a high intermediate player that should be using, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say
4.0 plus.
For sure, 4.0 plus. I would say there's guys, regarding that duper and that whole thing, which is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
There's going to be guys that just have power. They love power, and they just want to hit power. And they're usually pretty decent at it, and it works for them. So that will work for them. But at the same time, it ain't going to work for them when they're trying to transition and dink when they get to the ground.
Yeah.
Because it's just not that style of player that they're going to use for that paddle. Would you say?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's gonna take a little bit more. Like you need to experiment with this paddle. Like especially if you're trying to transition towards that 4.0 to that 4.5 level. I would say yes, it might help you some way in the sheer power. But if you're looking at the dinking aspect of your soft game, it might suffer a little bit before you reach it. Not as bad as the flick, but the boomstick definitely will be a little bit hinder. And also the other thing is the price might be a big hinder also.
Yeah. If you want to intimidate your opponents and come out there and look pretty sexy, you're coming out with that.
Come with that
right?
one. At least you have lifetime warranty.
Yeah,
I think.
And you go out there and you want to drive the crap out of the ball and you're looking good, then that's going to be the one for you.
Exactly.
But when you get into a game and then you get crushed at the net and in transition zone, then you'll be like, should have saved your money.
All right, so let's go to the other two we're looking at. So we just showed. So this one, the Joola Perseus 4. This is actually the 14 millimeter, and then we have the other Selkirk, the Selkirk era SLK Power era. Also, this one is a 16 millimeter. So we can talk about quick stat about that one. So even this one was a 14 millimeter. The swing weight was 120. So still high, but still maneuverable. For me, yes, it was 120, but I was like, it's still maneuverable as 120. Twist weight pretty high, at 6.6. So this paddle is definitely really stable compared to the SLK era. The SLK era has about swing weight even lower, 115. But the twist weight also comes a little bit lower at 6.2. The SLK era, the static weight is at 7.8. I added latte, so that's why you didn't feel that much. The Joola actually it started at 7.9. I also added a little bit weight on the side, so that's why it's a little bit heavier. How do you feel about those two paddle? For myself, they are fairly similar. Obviously, there is a little the power ratio is a little different. The Joola power is much more pronounced. However, the SLK era has definitely much more dwell time compared to the Joola, right?
Yeah, I would agree. That one's more power because this one has more dwell time, like we said. So it's going to be a little bit maybe poppier. Mm-hmm. So for me and my style of game, again, I didn't find the Joola suited well for my style of play. It just didn't feel. I just couldn't get a good feel for it. I had to generate a lot more power into it, and it wasn't as predictable for me. When I used this, I was actually pleasantly surprised. Because it had that little bit of a dwell time, I could shape the ball a little bit more.
Yep.
Add a little bit more spin to it. They're both stable. I really like that in transition zone. They were pretty solid, stable paddles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Like myself, I can tell. I'll say I was little. You can tell me I was a little biased because my default paddle was always Joola. My default paddle was the Joola Perseus 4. Like when something is not going right, by default I would just go back to my Joola Perseus 4 because I know I can play well with this paddle. I can it struck a good balance between the control and power. It's definitely nowhere close between those two paddle and in terms of power, but like you can feel I can shape the ball. I can still have decent enough power, or like pop was not as significant, but still a little bit there that I can maneuver in at the net, right? Versus the era is when I use the even it's the era, it is technically a power paddle, but it's in the very low end of power. So I usually use that paddle more in a situation that I'm with the wind. Especially when I'm playing outdoors, that paddle will help me a lot to still generate enough power, but it's gonna die into court enough because of the dwell time. It sits a lot. The ball sits just a lot on that paddle that I can shape it whatever I want.
Do you find that you have to swing harder or take a bigger swing with the SLK versus the Joola?
Yes. Big time. Like the SLK era, like in order to get the same ball speed, basically, the SLK era is gonna. I can feel like after like basically, let's say for example, I'm driving 5 times in a row, it'll be easier for me to drive with the Joola versus the era. However, in those 5 ball, if I want, I know I need to make that 5 ball 100% of the time, I will take era over my Perseus, because the Perseus probably there is one out of two the ball might actually spray out. That would because of the sheer power that the Joola had versus the SLK. I'm more confident I'm gonna make all the ball. I might have one ball is gonna land into the net because of it.
Right. It's funny you say that, because I think almost the exact opposite for my play style and my perspective. I found that this one actually, I could generate more speed with this one because of the dwell time. But I like that. It just feels like I got more control, more feel. I could shape it a little bit better versus that one there. I felt like I had to, like I'd hit like 5, 6, whatever, 8 in a row. And I was like, oh, I'm exhausted because I felt like I had to generate more swing speed, right, for that one. I didn't feel, if I did the exact same thing here, I felt like they were coming off just as hard and with more shape and more spin for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's for sure. The SLK definitely more shape. And then for me, the Joola is just basically like basically with my style, just sheer power. Let's just translate, right? But it's just different stroke, right?
Correct.
You have a smaller stroke. I have a much bigger stroke, right? So which is actually a bad sign in some ways, right? All right. And we have one I think every episode we're gonna do one bonus paddle. It's just a weird paddle that no one probably either buy or even consider. So we actually hit that one. Kind of interesting. Just change it up. So we have the Owl paddle. So this paddle is they have multiple different shape. This is the elongated shape, and this is the power version. So that's blue. They have actually control versions. Actually, is the gray one. So and how do you like this paddle? So let me talk about a little bit the number of this paddle. So swing weight is pretty high, 120. Twist weight actually super low, 5.5. Static weight of this paddle is 8.1. Okay, if you look at this paddle, you're not looking wrong. Yes, this paddle is like a felt. It's not like raw copper fibers, like just like basically felt on there. And then when you hit a ball with this paddle, that's the reason why you see on the back here is USAP quiet approved. So basically this paddle, there is some area now in United States that they, because of the noise or whatever, they are forcing people to buy, we call quiet paddles, in order to play in those community or whatever courts. So this paddle is actually will be approved to play in these community. And you might think about, okay, then is this paddle USAP approved? Yes. This paddle has a USAP approved sticker on there, so you can play with this paddle in tournaments. How's your first impression of this paddle?
Oddly enough, I was pleasantly surprised again.
I'll bring a ball so you will listen.
Yeah, I think because it does have a little bit of dwell time, which I like again because of what I normally use, which is the gearbox. Because it has the felt, it has a little bit of that cushion, right? It's that old school type of paddle, honeycomb, that gives it that, it just gives it, the quiet sound off this felt is also deceptive.
Oh yeah.
But because the felt has a little bit of that grit, it's not like carbon fiber, it's smooth when you touch it, but it grabs the ball and it grabs the ball and it shapes. When he was hitting his drives, when they're at the net, they were just dipping down like a lot.
The spin is crazy.
Yeah, and if the net was here and he was hitting them here, they would dip down to here. It was quite impressive. It was probably, you shaped the ball off this paddle more than any of the other paddles that we did today. And it comes off, because it's so quiet, it comes off, I think, faster than you think, because you can't hear it.
Yeah,
right?
then it shows like how much we use our ears to actually gauge the speed of the ball. And this one basically is a complete deception. You're like, oh, okay, the ball came up fast. What happened?
Yeah, deceptively powerful. Like you could generate a lot of power without as much swing speed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So I'm gonna bounce the ball on that. You're gonna hear that. So you barely hear it. Basically, you barely hear it. And then I took maybe the loudest paddle, right?
The boomstick.
I'll pick the boomstick, which is the probably loudest paddle.
Yeah.
Much different sound. You can't hear it. With the other one, you just can't hear it, right?
Yeah.
I will say it's not a very a paddle for everyone neither on this paddle, because like myself, I play a couple of times. This paddle, there's so one of the problem with this paddle is that twist weight is really low, 5.5.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
I think you witness it at the net, like, oh, that paddle twists around like your block, your reset is like woof. It feels a little bit difficult. So you need to weight it up, but the swing weight is already high. So you're like, ugh, it's gonna be tough to weight it too high, right? Luckily, this paddle, at first it was edgeless. This paddle is technically edgeless. This is just the like a sticker onto it. And I was trying to put some weight onto it, because usually weight you put sticker, right? Doesn't stick well.
Oh.
Like now it's fine because I put the edge guard. You can edge tape. You can actually tape it on the tape. But if you didn't have that, forget it. You cannot just put weight on this paddle. This paddle not very expensive at this point. I think it's around into the ramp of 150. You can also find it on Amazon sometimes. Actually, this paddle is a Canadian company. Our Sport is actually a Canadian company based in Vancouver. So in BC, so it's actually a Canadian company and endorsed by Drew Brees and John McEnroe.
Yeah,
so it's like interesting. Like,
yes.
What? so that was kind of an interesting paddle. And I didn't talk about those two paddles. The price. So the SLK era is actually $199 US. Only have 1 year warranty, unfortunately. So most of the Selkirk paddle has lifetime warranty, but unfortunately, The SLK series, we call it cheaper Chinese series, usually only have one year warranty, and this is we call a Gen 3 construction. Means they have a foam floating core into the paddle with honeycomb on the center. Same with the Joola. Joola actually has a 1 year one-year-ish warranty, but it's pretty expensive. It's into the $250 plus US dollar. What I also can say on the durability is that it's not that good in the durability, even though they have 1 year warranty, but they only replace up to 3 times, which technically is fine. You'll be able to get through the three times, but some of my my pickleball friends like Travis Wright, he broke his first paddle. He broke it in a space of a month. It's annoying, right? It's just annoying because it also those Gen 3 paddle we call with the foam inside the core has a little bit of we call a break-in period. So over time, those paddle will get a little bit more powerful because the foam is gonna get a little bit looser and looser. So therefore, it will generate a little bit more power and over time versus the. If we look at the Flick and right here, the Boomstik is actually we call a Gen 4 construction. So in both of the paddle center instead of the honeycomb is actually full foam, and then they have also an extra foam of ring around this paddle. Hopefully, since it's foam on foam, we're not gonna have that we call break-in period, and not also having we call core crushing, because the core crushing what was happening is that those Gen 3 paddle, the honeycomb get crushed, and then what was happening when it is crushing is that paddle instead of when paddle breaks, usually it should not get more powerful. Those paddle, when it called crush, actually becomes more uncontrollable because now it have that squishy effect that accentuate the trampoline effect, and then now you lose control, and then the ball becomes the paddle becomes a bazooka, so you can't control anymore. Is a very problematic problem in a recreational play because there's no one's going to enforce it, and even in tournaments, unfortunately, there's no enforcement on their core crushing. Hopefully, coming next year, now there is a new machine. It's called a go no go machine. They actually test the deflection of the paddle right away. That is small enough that they can bring it into the tournament, and then now you can say, okay, this paddle unfortunately is delaminated. For the referees to say no, you're not allowed to use that paddle, because currently I'm a certified pickleball referee. Even though I know the sound, I know everything, it looks delaminated, I cannot disallow your paddle, because it's the pressing on the center of the paddle is subjective. Mm-hmm. So and anyway, we're not going to go into tangent, but that's the problem in our paddle world. So hopefully the Gen 4, so that's why they're more expensive right now, solve this problem. That does not have that longevity issue, and that's the reason they are a little bit more expensive. So if you are into the latest technology and hoping that they're not called core crushing, which I think they would not be. I would say the Gen 4 generation should be the one that you'll be looking for. If you're looking for Gen 3 paddle, that SLK and the Joola is still the top of the line in terms of paddle world. But keep in mind, we know already those Gen 3 paddle will core crush. Even the best paddle they make will core crush. So therefore, you need to be mindful. You might have to replace them, and or you go to the old. This is a Gen 1 paddle, so basically inside is actually honeycomb only. There's no foam, there's no thermoforming in it, anything. So therefore, yes, this paddle technically not gonna break. If it breaks, is basically the paddle is pretty much beat up or over.
It's because you threw it against the fence or against the ground.
Yeah, or some of it. Anyway, all right.
Okay.
Thanks, Dewy.
Awesome, buddy. Good job.
Thank you for first episode. Stay tuned. We'll probably a couple other weeks or in a month we're gonna come in with more paddle. If you have more paddle suggestion for us to look at, we'll also put it into the comment on the YouTube chats, or you can put it on my Instagram WTATCHAN. I will try to get those paddle and then do our own review. You can follow me. I already give my Instagram number on it. And what's yours, Dewy? It was
Instagram, Pickleball with Chinese Jesus.
Pickleball with Chinese Jesus. So that's the one you want to follow Dewy, right? So thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll catch you guys on the next time.